Όπως είδατε και από το τίτλο και από το thumbnail, σήμερα θα κάνουμε react σε αυτό το YouTuber που λέγεται His Story. Πολύ μεγάλος YouTuber, 5 εκατομμύριους subscribers, για κάθε βίντεο που ποστάρει έχει 1,6 βίντεο και τα popular, 78 million he tapped back. Και ναι, έχω δει λίγα βιντεάκια, είναι πολύ ωραία. Και κάντε ένα subscribe και ένα like για να πάμε 500 και πάμε να μπούμε στο βίντεο. Και πείτε μου άμα σας άρεσε το thumbnail. Λοιπόν, ξεκινάμε.
I was crying at my mom's open casket in our living room when I saw my brother lean over her and slip the wedding ring off her finger, putting it in his pocket. He cackled under his breath and glanced around. I rang the door.
Bro, η ώρα είναι 12 και 40 και κάνω record.
My mom pushed my plate of breakfast eggs away and poured me a bowl of cereal. Mom, can you stop treating me like a baby? I'm 23, but she patted my head and handed me a juice box. Whatever you say, sweetie, she gave me a plastic spoon. I face-palmed and walked away. But that night, she stormed in while I was gaming and unplugged my console. It's past your bedtime. It's 9 p.m. I pointed at the clock, but she was already ushering me to the bed. Exactly. You should have gone to sleep an hour ago. She took my phone and walked out, locking my door. I despised living with her and needed my own place, so I secretly applied for a job. The day of my interview, I told her I was meeting a friend and would be back for 6, then got dressed in the bathroom and snuck out. I walked into the interviewer's office, my heart pounding. But as soon as I sat down, the door behind me opened. Mom walked in smiling, and my stomach instantly dropped. What are you doing here? Mama's just here to watch. We're gonna talk later about you lying to me about where you're going. She pulled up a chair and sat beside me. The interviewer had an awkward smile and chuckled. So tell me about yourself. I opened my mouth to speak, but suddenly my mom leaned over and stared into her eyes. He's a mama's boy. That's all you need to know. I'm his whole world and he's mine, and nobody's taking that from me. She squeezed my hand, and I winced because this was insane. The interviewer looked threatened and quickly wrote something on her clipboard. She asked, "Are you able to work overtime?" And I straightened my tie and went to say yes, but Mom got there first. Only till 8, that's his bedtime. I felt my face go red with embarrassment and told her to stop, but she literally pulled a bottle of soda from her bag. I'm just here to make sure you're not nervous. Now drink up. I can tell you're dehydrated. She pressed the bottle to my...
Wow, bro. Έλα ρε bro, τι φάση του κάνει τώρα όμως. Έλεος, αυτό το βίντεο θα κρατήσει κανένα 15 λεπτό.
And when I saw the other candidates watching through the window and laughing, I snapped. I started stealing as much as I could. As soon as the bank guard walked away from the vault door, I quietly cracked open every deposit box I saw, filling my bag with cash and jewelry. This was a black market bank. Everything inside belonged to the worst drug traffickers and war criminals on the planet, so I had no problems with draining their accounts. I had almost cleared out the entire vault when I came to box number 13. I popped the lock. Inside was a piece of paper and a gun. But that wasn't all. The box was rigged. When I opened it, the vault slammed shut and I was trapped. I flipped on my night vision goggles. I had to think quickly. The getaway van was only...
Bro, τι βιντεό άρεσε κάνει ο His Story. Bro, έχω παγώσει με το αρκοντί. Και τι βιντεό άρεσε κάνει ο His Story.
Wait for another 90 seconds before it took off. I looked at the piece of paper from inside the box. It was a note. Nobody steals from me. If you're reading this, you're trapped and the guards are on the way. I've left you a gun with one bullet inside in case you want to take the easy way out. Because I promise you, if I take you alive, your fate will be much worse. It was signed by the most brutal cartel boss in the country. Just then, I heard the footsteps of guards outside the vault and the door started to open. 3 guards stood in front of me, their guns raised. The lone ceiling light outside the vault flickered one time, and I realized that there was only one way out for me. I reached for the gun in the box. The guards moved closer. "Hey, freeze! What do you think you're doing?" I raised the gun and said, "Taking the easy way out." I shot the light, and the room went pitch black. The guards stumbled around blindly. I flipped on my goggles and made quick work of all 3. Once they were knocked out, I threw them in the vault and shut the door. I ran outside and made it to the getaway van at the exact moment it started to pull away.
Bro, τι έκανε ο bro! Τι έκανε ο bro!
My 3-year-old ripped his hand out of mine and sprinted straight for the ocean. I immediately jumped up because I was too broke for swimming lessons, and he'd definitely drown. "Theo, get back here!" But a giant wave emerged from the ocean and crashed over him, and when it reeled back, he was gone. I frantically searched for anyone who could help us, but the beach was completely empty. I crashed into the water. "Theo, where are you?" I fought through waves that kept shoving me back toward the sand. I knew I didn't have much time until he'd drown, so I took a deep breath and dove in, but I couldn't find him. So I grabbed the phone I won from the His Story subscriber giveaway to call for help. But a pop-up came up on the screen. To find your son, every viewer has to click the like and subscribe button of this video. And when I opened
Καλό.
my eyes, I could see a dolphin heading straight towards me. I rose back up to the surface and saw my son sitting on its back, laughing. Look, Dad, the dolphins taught me how to catch fish. He held up 2 little fists stuffed with silverfish, grinning like he'd won something. Now we can sell them so we don't have to be poor anymore. I stood there chest deep in the ocean and realized my baby was never drowning. He knew we were struggling with money, and he'd gone into the water to save our family the only way a 3-year-old could think of. The next morning, I sold his catch at the market, and I spent every dollar on swimming lessons. My son wrapped his arms around my neck. You're the best daddy ever. I smiled. Don't thank me. Thank his story. It's because I subscribed to him, and you should too. My 3-year-old ripped his hand out of mine.
Bro, τι φάση. Πόρε, bro. Εντάξει, είναι τέλειο. Είναι τέλειο. Bro, μ' άρεσε πάρα πολύ το history. Λοιπόν, αυτό δεν το έχω δει. I was talking to aliens. Μου το πέταξε σήμερα. Σκρόλαρα, το πιν, σκρόλαρα.
I climbed a ladder in my backyard and taped the nose cone on top of my makeshift rocket. Then I whispered into my headset, "Aliens, this is Human 24. I'm ready to escape my mom." The headset crackled. "Confirm you're alone, Human 24." I clenched my fist and told them I'm always alone. Inside the house, my mom had my whole day written on a card taped to the back door, and I was tired of following her schedule. "Get me out of here," I said. "I'm done being her prisoner." "Copy that, Human 24. But don't tell anybody." I said I wouldn't, and that's when a huge shadow came up the side of my rocket. I turned around and went pale because my mother was standing there with that same look that she used to scold me.
Λέτε, λοιπόν, μπορεί να ξέρετε, θα κάνω και κανένα βίντεο που θα πάρω σκύλο. Γιατί θα πάρω σκύλο και θα τρελαθούτε.
She pulled the headset down around my neck and asked, "What the hell are you doing? It's time for your curfew." So I looked into her eyes with a smirk. "I'm launching into space. The aliens are coming for me, and they're helping me to escape your control." But she said, "Aliens aren't real, dumbass." So I shook my head and told her she was wrong, but she ignored me and reached past me for my rocket. I screamed, "Leave my rocket alone," and got in front of it with both arms out. But she pushed me out of the way, and I fell on my butt with a thud. My headset came off my head and fell onto the grass. My eyes widened, and I scrambled to get it back on. "Hello, Mr. Alien? Are you still there?" My mom paused and asked who I was talking to. I said the aliens. She grabbed my wrist. "Tell me who is on that headset." Then she pulled it off my head while I screamed, "No," and put it on. She spoke into it. "Who is this?" I couldn't hear what came back, so I watched her face, but it got redder and redder by the second. Then I heard something in the bushes behind us, so I turned around. There were 2 guys in the weeds packing a radio into a backpack, yelling, "Abort mission." His mom found out. My jaw dropped. No way. Are these the aliens? I saw my mom march over to them and grab both of them by their hoods, but my hands started trembling when I heard her say, "The cops are on their way." I put my head down because there were never any aliens, and walked back and kicked the nose cone off my rocket. They were never taking me to space. They just wanted to control me, just like my stupid mother. I climbed a ladder and my 8-year-old daughter pointed at the 9 dead bodies on the news and cheered, "Daddy!" I pressed the guard's master key into a bar of soap the second his back.
Δούμε 10 λεπτάκια και μετά, λοιπόν, άμα το σπάσετε αυτό το βίντεο, θα κάνουμε άλλο ένα τρελό βίντεο με history που θα βλέπουμε βίντεο. Κάνουμε react, καθίστε να το κάνω λίγο zoom, που θα κάνουμε react στο history. Αυτό είναι καναλάρα εδώ, μου αρέσει πολύ. Λοιπόν, να πάμε το πιο popular, το δεύτερο από πιο popular, γιατί... My costume was too real. Για να δούμε αυτό.
My twin brother Chris and I were 9. I became my school's hero for 1 minute before everyone watched what happened next. I don't play... When I saw Kimberly walking out of the boys' bathroom, I asked...
Τι είναι αυτό, λοιπόν, bro, θα πάμε popular. Και θα πάμε εδώ πέρα.
I became my school's hero for 1 minute before everyone watched what happened next. I don't play around when it comes to Halloween, so during our school's Halloween dance, I dressed up in real firefighter gear from my dad's closet. Real jacket, real boots, real helmet. I strutted around the gym like I owned the place, until my teacher looked at my drawing, covered her mouth. I became my school's hero for 1 minute before everyone watched what happened next. I don't play around when it comes to Halloween, so during our school's Halloween dance, I dressed up in real firefighter gear from my dad's closet. Real jacket, real boots, real helmet. I strutted around the gym like I owned the place until the fog machine popped like a toaster and the fire alarm went off. Everyone cheered thinking it was part of the show until I smelled burnt plastic. Teachers started waving their arms, telling everyone to stay calm, but I noticed the orange extension cord powering the machine didn't stop at the wall. It ran out the side doors and down the hallway toward the science wing. Then someone near the door yelled, "Smoke in the hallway," and teachers started shouting for everyone to evacuate. Real sirens started wailing.
Λοιπόν, νομίζω ξέρω, το παιδί είχε βάλει του μπαμπά του την πυροσβεστική στολή. Αλλά νομίζω αυτό το παιδί θέλει να γίνει πυροσβέστης και θα τους σώσει όλους.
Outside and fire trucks pulled up. The crowd poured into the parking lot while firefighters rushed through the main doors. That's when one of them spotted me standing near the entrance in full gear. "You, with us," he shouted. "We're clearing the east wing." I opened my mouth to say I'm just a student, but he shoved a flashlight into my hand and pushed me forward. The hallway was dark and filled with smoke. We followed the orange cord past the lockers until it disappeared under Mrs. Carter's classroom door. One of the firefighters reached for the handle and jerked back. "Hot," he said, then looked at me. "Hit it!" But I only had my foam axe. I swung as hard as I could and it bounced off with a pathetic squeak. The firefighter grabbed it, swung himself, and the foam bent in half. He stared at it,
Τι είναι αυτό,
muttered, "These
τι
damn
έπαθε bro,
budget
τι έπαθε στο τσεκούρι.
cuts and tossed it aside. That's when someone shouted from down the hall and he waved to the others. "Forget this
Τι είναι
door.
αυτό?
We'll circle back once we've got tools." They started heading back down the hall, but then I heard it, a squeaky wheel spinning frantically. This was Mrs. Carter's room, and the class pet Mr. Nibbles was still inside. I turned back to the door. The handle was glowing red. I wrapped my jacket sleeve around my arm and threw my shoulder into the bottom panel until it cracked open. Smoke poured out and choked me instantly. The hamster cage was on the counter, and tiny flames were eating the papers around it. I grabbed the melted cord with my sleeve and yanked it from the wall. A spark bit through the fabric straight into my skin, and I screamed, but kept pulling until the plug came loose. I grabbed the cage with my smoking sleeve, and the metal seared into my palm. I could smell my skin burning. My
Μπρο, τέλειο, τι φάση,
My
bro.
lungs felt like they were filled with glass, and my vision was going black around the edges, but I ran. When I burst through the side door, I collapsed face first onto the concrete and threw Mr. Nibbles onto the grass so I wouldn't crush him. I could hear cheering as hands grabbed me, and someone pulled off my helmet. A firefighter was staring down at me. "Kid, you're a hero!" That's when I heard the scream. I turned my head and watched a hawk swoop down, grab Mr. Nibbles in its talons, and fly away. I became my school's hero.
Λοιπόν, παιδιά, άμα σπάσετε αυτό το βίντεο θα έχει και part 2 που θα βλέπουμε όμως βίντεο, όχι shorts, γιατί κάντε ένα subscribe για τους 400, γιατί τώρα πρέπει να πάω να φάω και πρέπει να πάω να φάω. Θα τα πούμε στο επόμενο βίντεο που θα είναι αύριο. Bye!